The creator of this show, Alex Hirsch, was like, I had a story to tell from the.
So, I hate to be that guy to say maybe temper your expectations just a little bit because of how when they bring back a property or try and do a sequel series to a property or, do a remake of a property, it doesn't really usually turn out too well. I do have examples. For instance, so let's start with this example. Boy Meets World versus Girl Meets World. Now, on the right, we have Boy Meets World where Corey was growing up, hence boy meeting the world, going through life, experiencing things, and discovering new possibilities about life and what he wanted to do with it. We started off with him in middle school and ended up with him in college, and eventually him going off to see the world. And then we have Girl Meets World, which tried to follow the same formula and tell us where Corey and Topanga's story ended, with Corey becoming a teacher, Topanga becoming a lawyer. And while it does sort of work, there were aspects of it that didn't. For instance, Corey could not be a good Mr. Feeney because as Riley's dad, unfortunately, his interest in Riley's well-being is completely different from how Mr. Feeney was interested in Corey's well-being. While Mr. Feeney did care for Corey and probably did love him a child, like, he loved him as a student. First and foremost, he wanted him to do well because he was his student. So you don't have that same kind of feeling between Corey and Riley that you do with Corey and Mr. Feeney. Now, if they'd focused on maybe having Corey be more of a Mr. Feeney towards, I think his name was Lucas, or even Farkle, it might have worked better. But it just, like I said, didn't go the way I think they had planned on it to go. Sucks. But there's other examples. So here's my next example, in my opinion. Again, these are all my opinion, so you're welcome to your own. I'm just saying, me personally. Now, Samurai Jack, great show. Fantastic. I enjoyed it as a kid. But when they brought it back, I was actually really excited for it because I was excited to finally see Jack's story end. And they gave him a chance at, happiness. He beat Aku, met someone he loved, and got married, went back into the past, and saved the world. All for it to end in the Gurren Lagann style. And if you've ever seen Gurren Lagann, watch Gurren Lagann's second season and tell me it isn't Samurai Jack's final season. Come on. So, yeah, they brought it back just to give Jack a Pyrrhic victory. Yes, he won, but what was the cost? And yes, he brought back life to the world, but again, at the sacrifice of its own happiness. All I'm saying is, did it work? Sort of. But at the same point, it makes it really hard to go back and rewatch the whole series. Because I don't really want to see Jack, by all definitions, lose. Even though, yes, Jack is a tragic character, it didn't necessarily need to end on a tragic note. But that's just me. I have another example, if you want. Yeah, even bring up the live-action adaptation of Avatar The Last Airbender. They're training Sokka to be less misogynistic, even though that was, most of his character in Season 1. Then we have, Aang over here. Instead of being the playful, joyful, lovable little scamp that he is, he's gonna be, I guess, more serious? Why? I have no idea, but I guess because reasons. Because Netflix wants it to be more Game of Thrones-like. Unfortunately, I'm still not done. One more time. Give me one more chance. So need I even say anything about this piece of trash right here? No. It already spoke for itself. It spoke for itself. So I'm just gonna say, when it comes down to these remakes, these reboots, these continuations of stories and properties that we grew up with, be wary. I've got plenty of examples of them doing this stuff, but all I'm saying is be wary. You don't need to suffer, and you don't need to get your hopes up just for them to immediately cut them down and drag it through the mud and then set it on fire. I know I'm being a little graphic, but I'm just saying it's getting ridiculous at this point. It's getting ridiculous. So just temper your expectations. But I do hope they do well. I do hope they do well. At the end of the day, I do hope it.